Welcome friends, to this video we're going to be drawing a cylinder in 2-point perspective with 4 steps. Let's go ahead and take a look at those and then we'll get drawing. The first step is we're going to draw the construction lines, and then we're going to draw 16 squares within a box to help us construct the ellipse. We'll draw 12 points to draw our ellipse inside the box, and then lastly we'll draw the ellipse and the cylinder. Let's go ahead and get started. What I have here is Procreate on the iPad. Before we draw, I do want to show you one anomaly that you want to watch out for. And what I'm showing here is an example of 2 ellipses that appear to be not in relation to each other. And this is for a couple of reasons. First reason is if we come up here, I have a perspective guide. I'm going to change this a little bit. If I move in my vanishing points here, one reason that it's distorted is if I draw with 2 vanishing points that are really close together, the cylinder is going to appear very squished. So that's one reason. The other reason, if you draw too far down from the cone of vision, let's say right around the horizon line, it's going to get more distorted. So ellipses are constructed from a box. And so, for example, if you look at this square here, it's going to be more distorted as the squares that are up closer to the center of vision. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the cylinder that is closer to the horizon line, and we're going to stretch out the vanishing points and make it look like a more traditional cylinder. Now we can go ahead and get started now that I've explained that. So what I'm going to do is hide this layer here, and I'm going to change my vanishing points and move those back out, further out from the page. And I'm going to choose a light color here to build our construction lines to our vanishing point. I'm going to pick somewhere here in the center, and one other thing, I'm going to turn on drawing assist. What that does is allow me to draw like using a ruler snapping to the perspective lines here. Let's start in the center and draw out to a vanishing point. Then I'll draw the center of my box here and draw to the right vanishing point. Then draw to the left vanishing point, and there's the center of our box. Then I'll choose the right side of the box, draw that out to the left vanishing point, both sides of the top and the bottom. Then I'll come over here and draw the back of the box. Then I will draw from the top to the right vanishing point and from the bottom to the right vanishing point. So it just so happens where these 2 vanishing lines cross is right there behind the front. So the back and the front are actually directly behind each other. So the back of the box is here and the front of the box is here. So that'll make it pretty simple in this example. Now what we can go ahead and do is we're going to do the second step, which is construct 16 boxes on the front and the back. This is going to be a lot of construction lines. The idea here is that you measure out how the ellipse fits in with the box, and then once you do this several times, you'll no longer need the construction lines because it'll become more natural. What I'm going to do is start a new layer here. I'm going to do a new color for the construction lines, and so we're going to create the next step here is we're going to create 16 boxes within this box. So there's going to be a lot of lines. Hopefully this doesn't get confusing. Let me know if you have any questions, and let's begin. So I'm going to do an X here from the bottom and the top of this box, and then I'm going to do a vertical line right down the center. And since this was in the middle of our horizon line, that cuts the middle of the box in half. So now we have 4, and we're going to split those again. So I'm going to do an X on the top box here, X on the top right box, and we'll just keep going here and here. Then we're going to split this one here. So I'm going to bring a line in between the 2 X's, carry it out on the horizon. And I could use the drawing assist or make it parallel here. Got to adjust it a little bit. Do this one here. and then draw 2 verticals. All right, now we have 16 boxes. What we're going to do now is the third step is we're going to create the points on which we can draw our ellipse. So the way that we are going to do this is we have a row on the top, on the side, the bottom, and the other side. We're going to create a line starting from the top of this row to the bottom of this row. Let's go ahead and do that. Where the line crosses where the top of this line crosses the first box is our first point. Then we're going to do the opposite, so the top of this row to the bottom of the row on the other side. And where it first crosses the first box is another point. And then right here at the top is another point. And we could also, to make this easier, we can go each point here in the middle. This is called the point of tangency. All right, so we've done the top row. Now we're going to do the side row, similar situation. So from the outside of the square to the inside of that first row, then create our point. So the outside of the square to the inside of the first row, create our point. Then we'll do the bottom, from the outside to the inside of the first row, create our point. Outside to inside of first row, create our point. One last one. All right, and so now we should have 12 points that we can draw on our ellipse. So that's the third step. Now I'm going to do that same thing again on the back side of our box. I'm going to speed up through this so you don't have to watch it again, but you'll see how we can draw these two together. All right, now we have all 12 dots on the front and the back side of our box, and then we're going to go ahead and draw both ellipses and connect those to make our cylinder. And the last, fourth and final step. I'm going to choose a new layer and a new color so we can see that, and then we can hide the construction lines later. So now I'm just going to start to draw over these lines here. And if I hold, Procreate will create an ellipse for me. About like this, and then we can go ahead and do the other one. And now we have 2 ellipses. Now I'm going to connect these 2 ellipses to make our cylinder. I'm going to go from the top of one ellipse to the top of the other. I could also extend this out to the horizon line. I'm just going to stop right there. And same thing at the bottom. Go from the bottom to the bottom. I could extend that out as well. I'm just going to go to the bottom there. Now we've created those, we can hide those construction lines, and we can clean this up here because we won't see this side of our cylinder. All right, and now we have our cylinder in 2-point perspective, and you can also see that these 2 ellipses are in proportion of each other, so it looks much more natural than it did in my first example. I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you found some useful tips in this video. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or even suggestions. I'm going to continue working on form and construction of the shapes and also build that into as I draw more people. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss out on those. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. So long.